no doubt the Eagles are locked and loaded for the rest of this season. A real team. You might do it, kick Dingbat here, and the Eagles are set. They are set to go on a run to repeat as Super Bowl champions. There is not one Eagle fan who shouldn't be excited about where the Eagles are right now. I'm not lying. I'm being honest. We are coming off the greatest bye week in the history of Eagles football that I could ever remember. Every possible team that you needed to lose lost, and you were able to get better. Now, I think the trades that the Eagles made, I think it's going to change everything for the Eagles. And I know people are laughing about Jair Alexander, but you better not sleep on him. But before we get started, a few things I want to talk about. First thing, I like this. Eagles, they will be wearing their white jerseys, black pants, and black helmet. This is a repeat. Of the Brazil game. Playing Green Bay in the Brazil game. I like it. You know the Eagles are in the Green Bay Packers' head. You know they are. I really think that one of the reasons why the Packers lost to Carolina last week was because they were thinking about the Eagles. Do you remember earlier in the week before Carolina came and played Green Bay? They were talking to Parsons, and he was like saying, well, Carolina's a good team, and we can't be overlooking them for Philly. As soon as he said that, my mind said, they're overlooking them, and they were. They'll be ready to play. We're going to get the best of Green Bay this week. We better be ready to go. And if Green Bay don't win this game, nobody's stopping the Eagles. Nobody. But we're in our black helmets this week. I love it. I love it. I love those combinations. Much better than the white on white. That's for sure. The other thing I want to talk about, Jalen Phillips. He's going to wear number 50. He couldn't be more happy than to be here in Philly. And, I think that'll be awesome. Really interesting trade deadline. Really interesting things going on with the team and with what could have happened. There is no doubt in my mind. Let's be clear. The Eagles tried to get Myles Garrett. They offered 3 first-round picks. I believe it. And you know what? It was the right move. He's a generational player. You've got a chance to get the best defensive edge rusher you've had since Reggie White. You got to take a chance and do it. Okay, not only because of what he does, in terms of how he plays, but just think about how much better he would have made Jalen Carter. This is a trade to revisit in the off season. There could be something there. Okay, we got to watch for it. The other thing is, I don't know why these people love to talk about the A.J. Brown. Guess who didn't get traded? A.J. Brown. Of course he didn't get traded. He never was going to get traded. The Eagles don't want to trade him. They love him. They value him. Okay? And hopefully he'll be an Eagle long term. That's how I look at it. I think there's a lot of crazy talk out there when it comes to A.J. Brown. But we thankfully can put this to rest for the rest of the year. There is no reason to even talk about it anymore, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at this team right now, and I'm expecting a much better Eagles defense than we got. Now, I'm curious to see how the cornerback position is going to work out. Are they going to put Ringo in there and let him play? He played good against the Giants. Or are you going to put Jacorian Bennett in there? And can Jair Alexander, can he come into Philly and gain it back? Look, he don't even have to be an all-pro. You don't have to be an all-pro. Just be competent at corner, and he could take over that position. If Jair Alexander finds his game, all right, and some people have said, well, he didn't fit with the Baltimore Ravens. They like to play more man. He didn't fit it, but he fits zone. He fits more what the Eagles do. If he comes in and he plays good, and he's good, it's over. It's over for the rest of the league. Do you understand? The league is holding on by like a little thread. Their only hope is that the Eagles have struggled some, and there's been some things that we've needed to fix, and they're hoping that that'll be our demise. But it's not going to happen. And here's the biggest thing. The biggest thing going into this game, I don't think people really even understand this yet. I mean, I don't think it's hit a lot of people. But they're going to have 3 pass rushers because, remember, Nolan Smith, they activated him to practice. Okay, he's ready to go. You're going to go into this game with a whole new looking defensive line. You're going to add 3 defensive and 3 edge rushers, right? You're adding Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, and you're adding Jalen Phillips. And here's the interesting thing that people, and one of the reasons why I talk so much about Chubbs, who I thought was a little cheaper, but the reason why you wanted a Miami guy is because they know the system. It's going to be a much easier transition for him to come in. So he may be on limited snap count, we'll see, but he's going to play, and he's going to have an idea what he's doing, and he's good against the run. One of the weak parts for the Eagles have been that the edge rushers have not been good at setting the edge. He's going to do that much better. The Eagles, they're coming in with 3 new defensive edge rushers. Okay, we have reinforcements. We should be healthy, and I really think this is going to change the outcome of the end of the season. I think a lot of the things we struggle for defensively is going to go away because I think your defensive line is much better. And with Jalen Phillips here, don't be surprised to see Jalen Carter have a really, really strong second half of this season, okay? This game is very, very important for the Eagles. It just is, okay? The Eagles, they got to win. They got to win this game. I shouldn't say that. They don't have to win. To be quite honest, if we're being real about it, if the Eagles split the next 2 games, with Green Bay and Detroit, they're most likely going to get home field throughout the playoffs because they've already beaten the Rams, they've already beaten the Buccaneers, and I know a lot of people are talking about, well, what about the Seattle Seahawks? See, the way I look at it is this, right? If you look at the conference right now, right? Eagles are the number 1 seed. So if you get the Eagles, then you get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's going to be very hard to go to Philly and beat them. Not only that, the Eagles, they would get a home game, they would get a bye week. And then you have the Buccaneers, they're the 2 seed. And then you have the Seahawks as the 3 seed. Now, I really believe at the end of the day, the Rams are going to win that division and go to the 3 seed. But the Rams are a 5 seed right now, okay? And to me, the Rams is probably the toughest team, I think. Maybe Detroit if Detroit's playing well. But Rams are probably, they've given us the hardest time. They have gone to Philly and almost beat us a couple times. So I think they're the hardest schedule. But if they're a 5th seed, it's going to be a lot harder for them to go. So you look at the Seahawks and the Rams. One of those teams is a wild card team. Seahawks, if they're going to have any chance to beat the Eagles, they have to have home field over the Eagles. If the Eagles have to go to Seattle, we've struggled historically. But if Seattle's got to go to Philly, they got no shot. And I don't trust their quarterback, just to say. So what I'm saying to you is the Eagles' next 2 games are so important. And we know we're going to get those teams' best games. But if they can somehow beat Detroit and Green Bay, then you've beaten pretty much every top conference team that there is. And as long as you tie with them, you're going to end up winning, getting that number 1 seed. I would say you win the next 2 games. Forget that Dallas game that comes after. It ain't gonna matter. They stink. But yeah, you win those next 2 games, you're set. You're set for home field throughout the playoffs. Now, I look at teams and I go, all right, Bucks come to Philly in the winter. It's like the opposite of what they have. They like to play they play us early when it's hot there. Well, they're going to have to come in the cold. That's going to be a problem for them. I think Seattle coming cross country is going to be a problem for them. Packers going to Philly, they got no chance. Rams going to Philly, that'll be probably a tough game. And then the Lions, we'll see. I mean, the other thing with the Packers-Lions, they got a Thanksgiving game. I might have to scream that. I might have to say, forget Thanksgiving. That's a great game. And that may really impact the Eagles in the conference. So one of those teams, Detroit and the Packers, are going to be on the road as a wild card team. One of those teams, Seahawks and the Rams, are going to be on the road as a playoff team. My point being in all of this is the Eagles are playing for the number 1 seed. If they get the number 1 seed, they're going back to the Super Bowl. If they don't get the number 1 seed, they really got a great chance of going back to the Super Bowl. But it's a lot easier to have that number 1 seed. So they got to stay on top of it. Okay? I don't see any threat in the division. I think the division's done. Giants stink. Washington stinks. Dallas stinks. Dallas, they made a big trade. That trade's not going to Not going to help them. It's not going to do enough for them this year. Maybe he helps them next year, but that's a whole other all season. I can't think about next year. I can only think about this year. We got half a season left to go, and the Eagles are in a great position. They just got to take care of business. A reminder, tonight, we're streaming the game. Was it Raiders, Broncos? Oh, boy. We'll get to see Chip Dip Kelly's offense. I'm probably going to have to bet the Raiders just because I want to win some money somehow. I'm on a nice streak right now. But we'll be streaming. You want to come talk, watch the game, talk Eagles? I'll be there. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Mark gets so mad at me. He's so mad at me. He's mad at me. And you know what it is? It's not talking shit. It's that he don't like the title that I put in my live stream the other day saying the Cowboys suck or they made a bad trade or something like that. But he doesn't understand. I put those titles in there to trigger him. I always do it. I put cowboy picture of them looking all sad because I know it's going to trigger Mark Holmes. And it works. It works every single time. And I love it. I enjoyed the Cowboys funeral the other day. Shout out Jacob Media. Shout out to Dan Cilio and shout out to Xander. Even shout out to Mark. It was a great funeral. It was very touching. And we'll see Dallas in the afterlife next year because they're done. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.